Is AEW Fight Forever dead? Was it dead on arrival? Let's talk about it. When you go ahead and you make people wait such a long time for a game to come out and then you release it with limited amounts of content, and then after that, in the post-game, you don't really do a whole lot in terms of post-game content or telling people when things are coming, it's always going to be tough, and that's the bluntest way I can say it. But that seemingly was going to be fine since they had promised post-release content. But when it's been nearly 6 weeks since the game dropped and the only thing you've really talked about is Stadium Stampede coming, it's poor. But that mode does seem great, it's just we're still kind of waiting for whenever it may come. I mean, as of right now, we literally don't know when it's coming out. It could be next week, it could be next month, it could be in November, we don't know. Not to mention, when it comes to the DLC, you know, Hookhausen, you've got the Bunny and Keith Lee. We haven't heard as to when those are going to be dropping. Again, those could be next month, it could be in December, we don't really know. And not that we were necessarily expecting this, you know, within the first 6 weeks of the game, but there's also no new match types, and there's not really been any word on any new match types coming. I mean, hell, we haven't even been able to get the match types that were in Road to Elite, but then were not available outside of Road to Elite, which is annoying because you'd think that surely someone over there at AEW Games had known about how much we hate the fact that there's content hidden behind my faction. You know how much we hate, like, the updated Oscar is behind my faction, for example. We don't like when these things are cut off in different modes, and it would be such an easy thing to just be like, yeah, here's the handicap match, here's the gauntlet match, here's the triple threat ladder match. You know, these match types that should just be on the menu are stuck behind this mode. And let's go ahead and talk about AEW Fight Forever's online, which again is also kind of dead because it's cheesy, it's corny, and once you reach Legend, it's kind of like, what now?
If they don't take Cause out of ranked by August 31st, I'm not playing this game on YouTube anymore, bro. I'm not playing this game on YouTube anymore, bro. At all, actually, at all. What is the incentive? Bro, listen. Oh, there's nothing wrong with it. No, bro. Fuck you, first of all. Second of all, I should not have to end every match in a countout. Oh, but that thing didn't have unyielding pose. Okay, what happened? I freaking start winning. What happens? He bails out. What happens? Leg sweep. What happens? Triple punch, freaking irreversible crap. What happens? I get dragged and get counted out. Suck my dick. Everyone who defends this shit can suck the back of my dick 2 fucking times, bro.
There's also not a huge amount of customization in AEW Fight Forever, which is annoying. And again, hey, I'm just one guy with some opinions. In the words of Pepsi Phil, tell me when I'm telling lies. But right now, I think I'm kind of spit. And speaking of the aforementioned match types, don't get me wrong, there is a few match types in AEW Fight Forever that are a lot of fun. The barbed wire deathmatch, for example, is awesome, but there isn't a lot of replayability there, and same goes with a lot of the other match types. Like, for example, every single tag match I've had played out the exact same way, the exact same mannerisms from my partner, the same way the computer will get in and break up the pin, and then one of them will stay in the ring to fight you, and you'll do some damage, and then they'll roll out. It all happens the exact same. It's redundant, it's repetitive, it's not very fun after a while. The mini games that are in Fight Forever are also a lot of fun, in my personal opinion. I know not everyone loves them, and you know, they don't have a ton of replayability, but I like them and I want to see what other ones they can add. And I've played so many of them, like, multiple times, because as many of you will know, I went and got all the achievements in Fight Forever, so I played the out of Road to Elite. I played that 10 times in, like, I don't even know, too short of a time. So I have played Fight Forever a lot, and those mini games are fun and everything, but at the same time, there's something missing. I don't even know what it is. I don't know what this game necessarily needs to do in terms of mini games, but there is something that needs to change. It's really tough, you know, because by all means, this game has still so much potential, and I'll stand by that. I think the public perception of this game will really change in the next 3 months. When we get Stadium Stampede finally, and we, you know, get some more announcements and DLC, and we really get a more concrete idea of the battle plan for this game and where it's going, we'll for sure know whether this game is going to be a bust or not. Because right now, we're kind of in something I will call AEW Purgatory. The game isn't really dead because the heart of the game is still beating and people are still playing. People are still waiting for the new content that they promised. But right now, it's kind of in a coma. Does that make sense? Like, it is going to wake up eventually and its quality of life could still be good, but right now, nothing is really changing or happening. You know what I mean? Does this make sense? Now, as I said a moment ago, personally, I have put a ton of time into this game. I unlocked all the achievements and I was going to make a video on it. And I can safely say that it was a challenge at times, but it kept me preoccupied. It kept me playing the game. I actively wanted to play the game more because I was enjoying going for the achievements. And it was honestly very satisfying when I completed the really really annoying ones. And I also even had a ton of video ideas on my own personal end that I wanted to do with this game, but obviously with my real life issues and everything, I haven't had the chance to really do anything. But that doesn't change the fact that I still will die in the hill that this game has something, and I will say it can go somewhere, and I think eventually it'll get that quick revive. You know what I mean? You need a little revive. Dun, da, 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 da. But even now, past a month of the game being out, I mean, I'm kind of out of the loop a little bit in this community, but it really feels like no one cares, and that's sad. It doesn't feel worth my time to even make the videos I wanted to make now, because it just feels like everyone's kind of moved on, you know? And that's not really a good thing, considering it's the summer, a new game, like there's not a whole lot of competition for games coming out at this time of year, especially wrestling games. So this game really had a chance, like I said in the pre-release content I made, to go ahead and steal the spotlight, okay, and do something different, but it's kind of fallen into the same trap that 2K did, where it releases and then not a whole lot happens. But thankfully with 2K, at least there's more creation you can do. With AEW Fight Forever, it's just frustrating, and it's extra frustrating because AEW in real life right now is so fun to me. Like, I'm really enjoying everything that I'm managing to catch, but it doesn't make me want to play the game any more than I do every now and again. There's just a lack of things to do in this game once you've played it for a little while, and I originally thought the online mode would make this game last longer. Like, it's fun, but boy is it annoying. And that's not even Fight Forever's fault necessarily, because, well, you know, wrestling fans playing online games or playing wrestling games online can just be corny as shit. And one thing I realize is that this game is screaming out for a creative outlet, because wrestling fans are in large a creative bunch, but this game is too goddamn old school. And what I mean by that is something that should have been a bigger red flag before launch. It's something that kind of crossed my mind, and I may have even mentioned it, but they always said, you know, Baker in the pre-release, Adam Cole in the pre-release, you know, whoever else, Tony Schiavone, we're always saying this. It's a very easy game to just go and pick up and play. You don't need to be an advanced gamer or a hardcore gamer. You don't need to pick up and learn a ton of controls. You can just pick it up and play. And that right there, essentially, in my opinion, translates to this game has a lack of depth, so you don't really need to learn. This game needs a universe mode and a highlight reel and a story designer, something sandboxy where you can say to the audience, here, we did our wacky fun part in Road to Elite, now go do your Whether thing. It's as a content creator, you know, people like me and everyone else that I'm friends with in this community would have loved a highlight reel in this game. It would have, you know, for example, someone like Murphs could have done way more content on this game. I don't even think he's made any content in this game, because truthfully, it's not a game that's going to ring out to him as a creator with what he does, and a ton of other people as well would have, you know, loved a universe mode. I know Phoenix would have loved a universe mode. I would have loved a highlight reel for career stuff, and even just from a casual wrestling game fan standpoint, it's like we can't really be creative in this game. Even if you just want to create your own cards and create a pay-per-view and play through Double or Nothing or something, you can't really do unless you just want to play one match after another, but it's not the same thing. You can't reuse the cutscenes that we see in Road to Elite. You can't make your own stories. There's no online creation suite or anything, or online community creations where you can download other people's creations. It needed more. The same way SVR did with Road to WrestleMania, and then had all the create modes as well. That's what makes wrestling games so good. You can create whatever you want with this thing we all love. Also, having played this game for a while now, even though I was lucky enough to get this game for free, I have to say that this game is way too expensive for what it is. The DLC plus the full price of the game, like, it's insane for what is actually in, you know, the game's content. But I will say, this would be such a hard PlayStation Plus game. Like, it would be hard as nails. It would be tough. If this was a free game, oh my god, we're spoiled. Why is this free? If it was like $20 or £20, fair. You know, maybe 30 with the DLC. But 60? Also, I'm going to very briefly touch on this. It's something that 2K also used to frustratingly do. It's the bad at communication thing. I do feel like the communication on, you know, you kind of just drop the Stadium Stampede announcement and we're like, okay, well, now here's a bunch of other stuff that you don't really care about. We haven't really heard a lot about, you know, like, for example, the people that paid for the season pass, they don't know when they're getting Hook, they don't know when they're getting Danhausen, they don't know when they're getting Keith Lee or the Bunny. And I also think it's going to be very tough for this game, and it's building on something that my good friend Assemble said in his video, but it's this game is going to drown in the next few months if it doesn't pick up the shit. And that is because there is going to be all these other games coming out September onwards. This is gaming season for people like us. When Spider-Man 2 drops, do you think I'm going to turn on Fight Forever? Absolutely fucking not. You are going to have to do some serious shit to compete with Peter Parker and Miles Morales, my friend. And so it's going to be really tough for this game to bounce back. But like I said earlier in the video, I'm not going to lose hope on these people. I'm not going to lose hope on this game because I do think it can bounce back, but you need to do it soon.